Hey, everybody. We are getting ready to do our noon show here in about 2 minutes. So, pulling up here on our social media, YouTube and Facebook, and we're glad all of you join us at lunch. Faith and I did the podcast this morning, and if you missed that, you can go to our YouTube channel, go to our Facebook page because it simulcast on there as well. So, you got a couple of different opportunities to go out there and find our stuff. But be going live for TV statewide here in a couple minutes, and we're glad that you joined us. And we're in Auburn today. We got a lot of meetings and things going on, so we pulled up at one of our favorite locations to just kind of chill here in Auburn, and we're going to do the show from here, and we'll be able to take your comments throughout the program, like always, and looking forward to interacting with all of you out there as we get ready to do the show here. Faith, it's beautiful outside today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I didn't think about it. We're about to hear the bells, the church bells chime at 12:05. So
I think it's great.
Yeah, nice little Auburn
spin to an Auburn Blitz show. So thanks to our partners out there. We couldn't do our show without Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen.
All great partners on our program, and want to give everybody a heads up. Faith's been working feverishly on our new website, so she's doing a really good job. She just showed it to me, and just really a few things to be tweaked, and it'll be ready to go live, Faith. So,
yeah, if anybody hates it, I'll cry. So don't
I
tell
don't
me
think
you hate
anybody's
it.
going to hate it. I didn't.
Actually, I won't cry, but whatever.
Did you know you were a webmaster at this point? So
I know that it gives you a headache.
bad.
So
Yeah. And it gives you one too, but you've handled it better than I did. So
Hey,
I would have
it's
already
fine.
probably thrown the computer out the door.
Well,
But-
considering it's not mine, I'm not going to do that. But if it was mine, maybe I would have, because
It's not fun. It takes a special person to be able to do it, for sure. Very talented, and a lot of different things now that you can do. A lot of programs to help you, but you still got to put everything together and lay it out. All right, so we're about 20 seconds from going live for TV, everybody. So we appreciate you being with us today. Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Auburn Blitz here at noon. Brett and Faith here with you for your lunch hour. We're glad that you joined us wherever it is that you're tuning us in throughout the state of Alabama, whether you're tuning us in on Charter Channel 701, Channel 80, or if you're tuning us in through YouTube and Facebook. We appreciate it so very much. For all of you out there on social media and YouTube, you can comment throughout the program. We'll be glad to interact with you that way. And we always thank our partners here on the program. Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call on Sensagreen.
Definitely appreciate them so very much. And we are in Auburn. Faith and I had a lot of meetings today and a lot of things that we're dealing with. So we pulled up one of our favorite locations here to do the show, and excited to be outside. It is gorgeous weather. It's finally not raining.
I know. It said it was supposed to rain all the last 3-4 days. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been outside some, and it has been so nice here. The weather is great. I'm just enjoying it while I can.
Don't wait on the weather, man. Right? Just go ahead and use your intuition. If it looks pretty good outside, go out and take advantage of it. The weather so far has been gorgeous today, and that's why we're outside. So, Faith, good podcast this morning. Thought we went through, and we'll go back through a lot of what we talked about on the podcast this morning here at noon for some of them that maybe weren't able to catch that. And if you didn't catch it live, you can catch our podcast anytime throughout the day. You go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, and that episode will be up for people to watch. And but some big time OVs this past weekend kind of finished off the OV season for Auburn, and they ended with a bang.
They did. It seemed like there were a lot of really good things that were said after this week. weekend and week. There were a lot of midweek visitors that
Right.
were in Auburn. So, I mean, it was just a lot of good things that we've heard.
A lot of good things. Naturally, we'll start with Sedarian like we did this morning. Sedarian Morgan was in town this weekend. He was also here for the 7-on-7,
Yep.
which we went and watched, and we kind of gave everybody an update. By the way, day 2 of the 7-on-7 on Friday, Thompson won it. So not surprised there with Trent Seaborn and the talent that Thompson has, but some really, really good teams on both days that we were able to see. I know Mary Montgomery won it on Thursday, and we got a chance to watch Benjamin Russell play them, and then saw Carrollton, Georgia, saw Auburn High School, saw Pike Road, saw Moody.
Parker,
yeah, some really, really good teams that, have high expectations going into the season and multiple state championships. I mean, Parker won the 6A, Thompson won the 7A, and both were in these camps. So we can go back if you've got a question or anything about what we saw there. We'll be glad to try to answer any of that. But this was a big weekend for a couple of different reasons for Auburn. They had several guys that have been committed for a while that you definitely wanted to kind of get a reassurance. They've been committed, and you wanted to kind of cement that relationship. And then you got some really highly touted guys that were in here that haven't made a decision yet, that are going to be making a commitment soon. And I know we just said we'll start with Sedarian Morgan, and that's a good place to do. You and I see Sedarian on a weekly basis, covering Benjamin Russell. And I've known Sedarian a long time, and we talked to him back in March, or you did actually, had an interview with him. It was really probably the first one anybody did. And he told you the 5 schools that he was going to go visit. And it's hard to believe that he's about to visit the last one, that we've gone through this whole recruitment process, and then he's just a few weeks away from announcing. But we'll focus on the one this weekend. All indications, he had a great visit to Auburn. This is not, his first rodeo here. He's been here a bunch, right up the road at Alexander City. Got some relationships here in Auburn with Malcolm Simmons and some of the other players. But the visit went good, according to him, and everything that we read and talked about.
Yeah, the visit went good. He was able to talk to he and Coach Davis, I don't know how many times.
Right.
We've said it, are super, super close. And just being able to, hear about how important a lot of these different elements are outside of football. Football is a big, huge factor to everyone that comes in, obviously. But lots of guys are taking more of the atmosphere, the family, the academics, those kind of things. And I just think that's been a really important thing for Sedarian, and it's an important thing for Coach Davis too.
Yeah, you mentioned this morning about the relationship that Deuce Knight's building with all these guys, and how impressed you were with that. And I think it's a good place to kind of focus on, because he hasn't been named the starter. Jackson Arnold was named the starter in May. And for him to be out front kind of on these recruiting visits, and we're not saying Jackson Arnold's not out there either. We saw him on some of these OVs and interacting with the players and stuff too. But, Deuce, as a freshman coming straight out of high school, finishing early, getting here in December, he's got a relationship with a lot of these guys already.
Well, Deuce is also just being name dropped left and right by different guys, and how important and how impactful it's been that Deuce is actually there talking to him, and how Deuce is making the effort to, tell different things that go into this Auburn football team, not just the, hey, we want you here, you'd be a good fit, but just how they can actually fit, and how, even though he's not the starting quarterback and he's not the one that's getting all the number 1 reps, but hey, this is how we're getting worked in. This is how I'm getting worked in. This is where I see our program going. And I think that's a really good selling factor to a lot of these guys.
I 100% agree. Just a couple quotes. He said, I had a great weekend, basically building our bond and connection that we already had, making it even stronger, really just hanging out with the players, getting to know the guys a little bit more. That's kind of a common thing. But then he went on in to talk about Coach Davis. And look, you and I have witnessed this personally. This is not just him going, oh, well, Coach Davis is my guy. He really means that when he says that. They have a really tight bond with one another, and it shows. I mean, just a great relationship. Even at 7-on-7 when he was coming around and, Sedarian making a point to go over and talk to him and hang out. So that's a huge asset. I mean, I'm not saying that Sedarian doesn't have a great relationship with the coaches at other schools that's recruiting him, but we have seen this one up close and personal. I don't know that you can build a better relationship.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that a lot and how that relationship is growing and developing each and every day and how they talk all the time. I don't think after he decides where he's going on the 2nd or
July 2nd.
Yeah, July 2nd. I don't think that's going to stop if he doesn't choose to go to Auburn. I think Coach Davis has made it an important point to Sedarian that, if he doesn't go there, he's still going to be working on him. He's still going to talk to him. But that's the kind of relationship you want with your coaches. And you want to be able to actually have not a friendly relationship, but a mentor and be able to be yourself around them, because that's a huge part of going and playing somewhere.
We haven't talked about this. I don't know that I've seen anybody talk about this, so I want to kind of shift gears. Put yourself in these players' shoes. I really think Sedarian likes Florida. I think he likes Auburn. I think he likes Alabama, and I think you'll see the same stuff. I think he likes Georgia. I mean, I don't think Colorado's really a player, although he took the visit, and that's what you do when you're a top-ranked recruit. But he's going to have to make a decision at some point in time, like all these kids, and there's going to be some relationships that are going to be emotionally tough for him to break. I mean, and I know that you don't just cut somebody off to a drip. When you make a decision in life, you maintain relationships and all that. But, whether it's the guy at Alabama or whether it's Marcus Davis at Auburn or whether it's somebody down in Florida, he's going to have to cut ties with 4 of the 5 and really focus in. So he made mention to us multiple times through your interview, through just talking with him off to the side, that these relationships are number one, the most important. And he said that's going to play a major factor in where he ends up going. And he's been keeping a tally of the ones that have been on him since day one. But even with that said, he's going to have to turn and cut ties with everybody but one school at some point, whether it's now or in December.
Yeah, it's going to be a decision that I'm glad I don't have to make, but it's going to be a difficult decision for him. And I think Sedarian's such a good kid that it's going to be hard for him to disappoint anybody.
That's it.
And it's not that he's disappointing anybody, because, you've got to make that decision. You've got to decide where you're going to go.
But naturally, if you got a tight relationship with somebody, you got to tell them no, it's going to feel bad.
Yeah. So I think he's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's got a lot of really good people that are helping him, throughout this whole decision. It's not like he's dealing with this on his own, but yeah, I think it was good to hear how well this weekend went, and it's not going to be the last time he's on this campus.
Not at all. Not at all. So, that's kind of a little synopsis of his visit. And again, our friends at 24/7, go and read some of the stuff a little bit more in detail. Some of the things Faith and I have been able to learn firsthand, especially through Sedarian. So just wanted to pass that along. But you know what? I don't think Auburn could have done anything more. I mean, that's kind of what we said on the podcast this morning with all these guys. We're going to go through some more of these guys that were on campus this weekend. But I think Auburn's done all they can do. I mean, the cake's in the oven now. It's baking. I know you love my cake analogy all the time. But hopefully this time when we pull the cake out, it's going to taste a lot better than it's tasted the last 3 or 4 years.
Good
That's the goal.
Lord, I hope so.
Yeah, exactly. So we are up against our first break for TV here on the Auburn Blitz. Again, thanks to all of you that join us each and every day. Make sure you stay tuned in. We're going to be with you till 1 o'clock. So a lot more to come here on the Auburn Blitz right after this. All right, guys. Y'all got any questions or any comments? How many of you watching the College World Series right now? Coastal Carolina is ripping it up, man. And I know Faith and I that's who we're pulling for. I know a lot of you out there made mention that you're pulling for Coastal Carolina too. And so there'll be an elimination game today with Arkansas coming up. They'll play Murray State, right?
Yep, that one's right after this.
Okay, so that'll be interesting. Might have to pull that up while we're working a little bit. Take a gander at that. But so Arkansas could be gone after today, and that would leave one SEC team, and that would be LSU. And I tell you, makes it even more impressive what Auburn did,
beating them,
sweeping them here. I mean, just how good LSU really is. And were they number one when they came to Auburn? I think they were. So,
yeah,
knocked off Mississippi State and won a World Series championship whenever that was. I know Kendall Graveman was on that team for Mississippi State. So I'm not exactly sure what year that was, but you got a chance to be outside today, everybody. Be outside, man. It feels so daggone good. Hope everybody, all you dads out there, had a good Father's Day weekend.
You had a good one, didn't you?
I did. I did have a good one.
Good.
Do a little FaceTime with Braden while he was continuing to work on the golf course, which he does, I feel like, 24/7.
He's there right now, isn't he?
He's out there right now. So
yeah, it's nice out
it's
today.
gorgeous outside today.
You need to be laying out there.
Just laying out right there.
Just getting tan.
Feels pretty good with the breeze blowing through right now. So
no complaints over here.
No. Right. At commercial break for TV. We'll be coming back shortly. If you got any questions or comments about anybody that visited this weekend, throw them our way. We had a change of plans today. We'll go through that here in just a minute. Just got a notification about the Elite 11s. So yep, look at there. 2 highest ranked uncommitted quarterbacks. We'll be back shortly from commercial break on TV. All right, 30 seconds, everybody. That one seemed longer than normal.
It did. I get a bug bite on my back.
There's plenty of that flying around right now, too. I feel like we live in the jungle.
Lucy's trying to eat the bees.
Yeah,
so
there's plenty of mosquitoes and everything with all the rain we've had. Horse flies and all kind of junk.
Hate horse flies.
God, awful. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. 45 minutes left in the show today, and we are glad that you've joined us, and we're glad to have our partners part of the program that allow us to do this every single day. Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores with 9 locations in Central Alabama for all your home building supply needs. J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation. No job is too big or small. They'll come out and do the site prep work for you and get everything leveled out, ready for you to build. And
Cincy Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Cincy Green. They are the carrier experts for the state of Alabama, proud supporter of Auburn Athletics and the Auburn Blitz podcast.
glad to have all of them part of what we're doing. A little change in plans for Faith and I today. We were supposed to be right now in Jackson, Alabama, talking to Landon Duckworth and EJ Kroll and Kean and the other young man. I keep forgetting his name, but that changed because Landon Duckworth got invited to the Elite 11 in California. So he is headed out to California to compete. What an honor for him, by the way, to be part of that. And then we just got a notification. He and Bo Bentley are the two highest ranked quarterbacks left in the country that haven't committed somewhere.
Yeah, after, he kind of dropped off with Ole Miss, and now it's just Auburn and South Carolina really were in their runnings right now. I was really looking forward to getting over there and kind of just hearing where his head's at,
right,
and hearing about, what the change was for him to no longer pursue Ole Miss and why is his head switched over. So I'm looking forward to talking to him next week. It'll be next Wednesday when we go over there.
Right.
So gonna go over there, talk to him, just see what the change was.
You got a lot of traveling next week that we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Be heading to
Mae
Jemison. Yep. Talk to Hezekiah Harris.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Another commitment for Auburn. And then of course, like you said, to Jackson on Wednesday. So a lot of traveling going on, kind of going with the same theme, following the same pattern we had this morning. Some other guys that had a lot of, I guess, attention going into the weekend outside of the ones that weren't committed. Probably the highest one was Shadarius Tootle. And Shadarius Tootle is really, really big-time linebacker prospect from Mobile and has been committed since July of last year. But things had kind of felt like they were trending in a direction away from Auburn. A few weeks ago, he had named Georgia his leader, and some people put in some predictions that he would flip his commitment from Auburn to Georgia, but it never happened. And he arrived this weekend on campus and walked out the door and said Auburn's back on top.
Well, first he said he walked out the car doors and they had rolled a red carpet out for him, basically. Not actually, but he said that, Auburn, they took it to heart after hearing that Georgia was on top. And I think I think they should. And, he said they really put in their best efforts for him this weekend and keeping his commitment. And we've talked about how hard it is to maintain those commitments with everyone flipping and not actually being locked in until signing day. So I think him having said that about Georgia really kind of turned Auburn's ears up and said, oh, we got to do something to keep him here.
And again, when you get a commitment, you can't take anything for granted. You've almost got to continue to pursue them as hard as somebody that you don't have a commitment, because other people are going to come after them. Quote from him, he said, they don't compare to Auburn. Auburn was top tier the whole visit. Auburn's definitely back in the top spot. The relationships I have with Auburn, all the staff, they definitely rolled out, like you said, the red carpet to try to keep me. And so, again, just a great visit. And the commonality of all of this is that I don't know that Auburn can do much more than what they've done over the last month with all these kids coming in and visiting. I don't think anybody's really – you're not ever going to hear anybody really say they had a bad time anywhere. But almost to the player, everybody's had a lot of really good things to say about their time here. And, the one thing that – and going to a player that we'll talk about here in just a minute, Auburn's in the mix with players that are considering Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. That's who their final five are, or an LSU or whoever it is, or Florida. So what you can't do is hang your hat on a bunch of second place finishes in recruiting, because they don't count. Right. Second place is no different than 8th, 9th, or 10th place.
Last.
That's right. So saying that you've done everything and recruits telling you that they had a great time, but then they choose somewhere else, don't cut the mustard, man. You can't get half a player. can get. I mean,
Don't
just
cut the
don't
mustard.
cut the mustard, man. I mean, you got to have. It's no.
I don't think I've ever.
Yeah, you
heard
probably
that.
never heard it before. So, that's just one of those old cliche statements. But seriously, win some of those battles. Get Braylon, which we'll talk about here in just a minute, to commit to Auburn over his lifelong favorite school, Ohio State, who he's going to visit next week. Get Sedarian Morgan, who's 35 minutes up the road, who is part of a high school that has a pipeline of former players that have come here to Auburn and been not just a player, but been very successful, been on very successful teams like the 04 undefeated team and the 2010 national championship team. Those for some examples. Don't finish second. Get those guys to come here and commit. And I know that's what Auburn's doing. That's what they're working really hard to do. But we'll shift over as we get ready to go to our next break, and we'll carry this over to the next segment. But Braylon Womack, the kid from Mississippi, that's a 5-star safety, and you and I talked about that this morning. It felt like Jaira Edwards is maybe leaning toward somewhere else, maybe toward Alabama. So maybe the full court press now on Braylon, and Braylon's the number one safety in the country.
Yeah, I think, going into this last weekend where he's going to Ohio State, hopefully Auburn just left a good taste in his mouth, and it seems like it did. He's been to Auburn how many times?
He said 50.
Yeah, because of his sister. So
Right.
He's got a tie to Auburn too. And
but another connection with a coach here too.
Yep.
Built a really good relationship with Coach Rushing, and not just him, but his family. And again, when all is even, you're going to go to a place that you feel the most comfortable. And another kid we'll talk about after this break is the same thing, a legacy to another school, but really likes Auburn.
Yep.
And it's about how you feel, and it's about the environment when you're there and the conversations they have with the players.
Right.
They have their authentic when they're off to themselves, they're able to talk to their peers and go, what do you really think about this place? It's no different than what we were talking about with Rodney Cleveland and Jordan Crawford a few weeks ago.
Right.
Finding out how Jordan really likes it here and
How it's been,
Yeah.
how he's being developed and
transformed.
Right, and pursued by the coaches. So,
all right, we're up against another break here on the show for TV. Everybody stay where you are. We're coming back right after this. So yeah,
look at this. I'm ordering this it's a brush for
Lord,
a horse.
make a blanket out of that.
I know. I'm ordering a horse brush for her and Oreo. I'm literally not kidding, off of Amazon. Because Oreo has longer hair.
She is definitely shedding, for sure.
It's her summer coat.
Yep,
She's like, Mom, it's hot.
got to get rid of it.
I don't guess he's watching.
I would say no.
The birds are going to be happy about all this, though.
Right.
They're going to be like, yay, a new nest.
Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Did you see that this weekend?
I know.
Yep.
Talk about
Where did that come?
Right?
I didn't know anything.
That's
about
what I said.
that. Yeah, I appreciate that, James. No, he has not changed. Just aged a little bit, but he has not changed. He's still the same guy. Yeah, Justin, I think so. Don't know that we'll have a chance to flip Marquez Daniel or not. Might, but definitely Denarius Gray, Devin Carter, and CD would be
Huge.
massive.
But again, I just don't see some of that before December.
No, well, I don't know. I mean, again, like kind of not beating a dead horse, but I mean, gonna have to wait and see. I know we say that all the time, but yes, I would say if you had your rathers, that would be the ideal class. So Marquez said, "Yeah, I'm not going to visit Auburn again. We'll see if that happens." Being basically 35 minutes in another direction up the road, but it was always Florida and Auburn, and he went ahead and pulled the trigger. So a little rattling going on in the trunk there with the bass.
My
Car.
gosh.
Yep, gonna blow the trunk off. I got 30 seconds, everybody, and we'll be back for TV. We know what halfway through the program means.
Yes.
I can smell it from here.
Is it halfway through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It
Yep.
is. Yeah,
12:30.
I didn't even look at that.
Hard to believe.
I was trying to do math instead of looking.
Yeah, just look. Sometimes it helps. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Justin Face enjoying building this website, by the way. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, halfway through our program here on a Monday, and that means it's time for
Pepper Tree Steaks and Wines. Guys, it's one of my favorite places to go every time, either if my parents are in town or even...
You really like it when they're in town.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? Like I said, they were here this weekend, so good food. Always.
Knew what was happening.
Always. Yeah, but we're working on getting over to Pepper Tree ASAP because I miss it there. They've got something for quite literally everybody, whether you like any kind of meat, any cut of meat. Jeff hooks you up every single time with the best cuts, any types of wine. I actually am pretty sure that my mom got this cup there. And a lot of people have been asking me where this is from. They've got a lot of swig products there.
You don't see Faith without that cup, I can promise you. Like if she happens to be without that cup, I don't know what she would do.
I would die of dehydration.
Yep, you would. So she always carries the cup. But go check out Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine in Auburn and in Montgomery, wherever you want to. It's been in Montgomery over 25 years. It's where it all started. But Kathy, really appreciate her and her staff, everybody over there, just great people, great customer service. You want to go back to places like that. So continuing on with the visits from this past weekend, just kind of wrapping up Braylon Womack, the 5-star safety from the state of Mississippi. Again, Auburn had Jair Edwards on campus a couple weeks ago. You felt like Auburn had a chance, was in the mix with the pipeline that's kind of coming from St. Francis Academy. But you look now at Braylon Womack, and Ohio State kind of is his place. He grew up an Ohio State fan, but he's got a lot of connections to Auburn. He really likes Auburn. He's been here a bunch. He is the number 1 ranked safety in the country, the number 12 player nationally. So interesting to kind of see how that all plays out. And he'll be making a decision when?
August 22nd.
August 22nd. So
yeah, I think that him saying that it's the people at Auburn that really make it home for him. Everybody says that, but I think just hearing it more and more, it just like says more about the atmosphere at Auburn and the coaching and everything like that, which is good. But we talked about it this morning about how it's. I was laughing. That's what I was laughing at, and it took me a second.
That's pretty funny. You get major props for that comment, Justin.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
That is good. That
brain reboot after reading that.
I wonder why you paused. You're like, okay.
Yeah. But what we were talking about this morning when it comes to who you want to go play for, and Ohio State is just somebody that's hard to compete with right now because look at their season the past 3-4 years and look at ours.
Well, we again doesn't mean that any coaching staff's working harder or whatever than the other, but it's called common sense. When you've been winning and competing for championships and you're going up against a team that has not, you want to be on the side that is the easier sell. Now, that doesn't mean that always wins out, but because Auburn has been able to recruit at a very high level the last couple of years and not been able to produce the results that Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State and some of those teams have. But over time, that plays its way out. That gets worn down, and you go, okay, y'all been saying this for 3 or 4 years, and it didn't get any better. So that's why we keep saying it's so important, and it's always important to win, but it's never been more important for multiple different reasons for Auburn to win this year. For the coaching staff to stay intact, for the recruiting class to stay intact, for the players that are on the current roster to stay intact. All of that really hinges on the success of this season.
I think, too, going and talking about Deuce and how he's been so involved in some of this, again, I just think there's something working in the locker room and in all the meetings and stuff for Deuce, too, who's not even being named as the starting quarterback, to see the vision and to see where this team is going to be. And I think him going and seeing a lot of these recruits, it's just it's encouraging for everybody.
And they say to the person, every time you get a big name quarterback, they're probably just as important as any coach on your staff trying to go out and recruit. I mean, I hate to bring up old stuff, but Walker White was very crucial in getting some guys to come to Auburn, even though he didn't end up playing here and he's transferred to Baylor now. But when Auburn got his commitment, and I'll still say that was one of the more impressive commitment ceremonies I've ever witnessed, just a very mature, well-spoken kid. He hit the ground running, going out, getting as many guys to come to Auburn as he possibly could. And it looks like that's what Deuce Knight is doing.
Yeah. So I just think it's good. I think there's a lot of things going on that are positive. And again, the only thing we can do now is just go and win.
That's it. And then we'll probably say it every day from now. I think we're 74 days away from kickoff. That's what I saw.
I don't know.
74. Wow. Goes by fast.
Yeah.
It goes by really, really fast. So, but again, we'll continue to break some of these other players down. Anything else anybody wants to talk about on the show, we more than welcome you to send us a comment, and we'll shift gears if we need to do that for you. Up against another break here for TV. Stay tuned. More to come here on Auburn Blitz right after this.
That was a quick segment. Was that 8 minutes?
It was 8 minutes.
No.
Goes by fast. Seems to be the theme today.
Look at that bird.
That's a dove. Look at it. There's a bunch of doves over here. It's about the 4th or 5th one I've seen.
That was so funny.
It's pretty good. The web page.
That is so funny.
She'd have her own blog, Justin. It's her alter ego.
Okay.
Pretty funny. For all of us with the inside joke, it'd be pretty funny.
It is.
Can't wait to have him back on again. He's going to be. I'm going to have to just not laugh.
I cannot get over the post from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I just am still so shocked. That came out of left field.
What was that? Yeah.
That was crazy, though.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Lane and I both were like, what?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Obviously yesterday or day before.
Or like when did that start?
Yeah,
like,
right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Man, that was crazy.
I figured you'd already seen it. Did everybody see the putt from JJ Spawn yesterday, the U.S. Open? Unbelievable to win. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable.
Yesterday was the first day that basketball coaches could offer 2027 kids.
There you go.
Baba.
Dalton?
Yeah.
Ola Dalton?
Was offered. He's a 5-star, 6'10". Was offered from Auburn.
Right.
Wow.
A lot of jumping going on around here.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
All right, 30 seconds and we'll be back.
This makes me feel a little bit better. Not much.
It does make me feel better, though.
Not much.
Not much, but I mean, it's
a little bit.
It's good to know that others have pain as well. And I know if you lose, but some of that has been horrific.
Yeah.
Like 40, 50 point losses.
Like bad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who cares? Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. A couple segments left in the show today, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation, and
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. Call in Sensagreen.
All right. One guy that we didn't really talk a lot about this morning on the podcast, we'll talk about here, is somebody we were supposed to be sitting down talking with, or you were supposed to be sitting down talking with, like right now in Jackson, Alabama, is E.J. Kroll.
Yep.
The reclass from 27 to 26 running back from Jackson. And, a lot of people have been feeling like he's trending to Alabama. He announces on the 25th of this month where he's going to be going. Is that going to be when we're there? Is that Wednesday?
Yep.
So we'll be there.
Well, we'll be there for that.
We'll be there for the announcement. So one way or the other, whether it goes Auburn or whoever. But anyway,
yeah.
EJ said Auburn moved up his list after this weekend. Just kind of your thoughts on him. He said that, the visit was fun, likes Coach Nix, and, just being able to sit around and talk football has been really, really good. But we haven't talked a lot about him, but man, he is a stud running back. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, very, very strong, very athletic. He's the top running back in the state of Alabama, number 7 player in the state.
Yeah, another kid just looking for the development of himself and, you know, how he could be used in what way. So, I mean, I'm hoping that going and sitting down with him would have been nice, just to see where his head's at before. But
well, I actually just did a relook. He's committing on the 26th. We'll be there on the 25th.
Okay,
so you will get a little bit of a preview before. So
yeah, it is the 26th.
Yep, committing on the 26th. We'll be there on the 25th. I just get it all mixed up because we're somewhere all the time.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be releasing that one on Wednesday instead of
right. That'd be an immediate release.
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. Depending on what the vibe is. But anyway, you know, no doubt being here and then Landon coming back to Auburn this weekend. They were here together.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I mean, Landon, with him coming back and working out and stuff like that with the guys, I think that is good. But I also think it's good to have them both come together. I mean, it's always nice to have kind of somebody that you know and somebody that's there kind of not – it wasn't the same thing because Landon wasn't on his OB, but just going there and being able to talk about it and converse. So –
no doubt about it. But, yeah, we didn't really talk about him that much this morning, but definitely a top priority. Anybody in the top 10, you saw what Auburn was able to do last year. They're going to make them priority. But, you know, again, the full court press from Alabama this year. Always. I mean, Tank Jones, Sedarian, we definitely know that that's going to be an in-state battle for both of those guys. We feel like, although we were told with Tank Jones, which we ain't talked about in a little while, it takes to watch Texas A&M there. And, you know, you and I were told for several of these guys that Texas A&M was in the mix. We were told this past week with Tristan Keys that they wouldn't be surprised if he ended up at Miami or Texas A&M instead of LSU. And then he was up at Tennessee this week. Visiting, looked like he was having a great time. You know, some of these guys you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't ever really get, and even going and talking to some of these guys, you never really get that feel of for sure. And I think
I'm not sure they even know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they even know really what the vibe is. So I don't know.
And again, I said this earlier. We look at it from a media and fan standpoint of, was he coming to our school? And if he doesn't, okay, we're moving on. Like, they truly have a very hard decision. Now, for some, it's not a hard decision. Some, they know where they're going. Dylan Purdy, he knew he was going to LSU. He didn't want to go anywhere else. He didn't want to look at nobody else. He shut it down. And
yeah, but I mean, does that really mean that people aren't reaching out to him and trying to talk to him? No. I mean, think about how that gets in your head too.
Very much so. But when you really have 4 or 5 legit schools, and I know we use Sedarian as an example, I legitimately think he's got 3 that he could see himself playing for.
Yeah, I mean, same with Jaquez Wilkes. Like, Jaquez was really, really looking at each school and the surroundings of what was going to be good for him, because big fishing guy, what was just going to benefit him and his family either way. And I think that was something that takes a lot of different things you got to look at.
And, you know, I don't want to say this, I don't want to spin this in a negative way, but sometimes, and I'll use Marquez Daniel as an example, he's lived here his whole life. He lived 30 minutes from here. I mean, it doesn't stop some, because Auburn's gotten a boatload of people from Booker T. Washington and Benjamin Russell. But I think sometimes some guys go, man, I'm going to go test the water somewhere else. You know, and if they've got a good program and I've got good relationships and all, sometimes being the close program doesn't win out. You know, we've seen some guys from Auburn High School choose other schools and vice versa. We've seen some guys in Tuscaloosa go other places. You know, Seth Williams came to
Right.
Auburn, and he was in Tuscaloosa. I mean, there are a lot of different scenarios, but everybody is different, and what wins out for them has to be what they feel the most comfortable about. And usually it's the relationships and the surrounding. Now, again, we haven't even mentioned NIL. We know that's a factor.
Yeah.
We know that plays into it. We know that things are changing with the salary cap and all that, but money's definitely going to play. But I don't think it plays into it just solely like a lot of fans think it does.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just going to take the highest offer. There has to be some things that make the kids comfortable in their decision and why they choose what they do. So, all right, up against our final break here for TV. Don't go anywhere. One final segment coming up right after this. So I'm going to go back and look and see where. Usually you can click on that. And let's go to. This player rankings.
Justin, that's a good question.
What is it?
How many of these parents are moving to or close to these college campuses too? His whole family moved to Alabaster.
Yeah, Alabaster. That's where Thompson's located.
Yeah. I don't know.
Good question. So Gyra is ranked there. Wow.
What?
That changed. So Braylon's got to be up
Oh,
here.
that makes me sick.
Braylon's got to be here.
Yeah.
Yep, there he is. He is. He's 12th, and Gyra's ranked 26th. Wow. They always find a way, don't they?
Yep.
Man, come on, man.
You okay? You want your water?
Look at there.
Okay, well, that's better. Dang, dude.
Good Lord.
Why is it everywhere?
Look how far he fell. Good Lord.
That's not in the state.
No, I'm talking about national.
Oh, yeah.
Man. We're looking at him big time, too.
I know. We've been talking
I
about
know,
it.
that's what I'm saying. Just
Oh, it doesn't
he's
say
falling.
anything.
He's falling, too. Roses.
Well,
There's that Stone kid that came in. Look how far he jumped up.
yeah. Dang.
And he made a massive move. There's Linda.
Dang. I went back
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to change that.
Yeah, that's old.
Dang.
They have to go get somebody because
They're everywhere.
look at that.
And they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Well, he's from Warner Robins. So. I don't care if we even go do that one. He's number 5. I don't care if we go do that one at all. Pronounce his name?
No. Don't even think about it. That would be so mean.
We're in for a lot of top ones, though.
Yeah.
All right, 30 seconds.
I would be sad if my parents didn't move if I was like going far away.
if they didn't move.
If I went far away,
Yeah, and they didn't
I'd be
come-
lonely.
Yeah. Depends on what kind of job you have and all.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying if I was playing
I'm
football.
talking about for them, what kind of job
yeah,
they
yeah.
can do it or not. All right, welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on the Auburn Blitz. We really appreciate all of you out there that join us each and every day, whether it be for the podcast or our show here at noon. We are out here in Auburn. Got some meetings going on today, Faith. So we came to one of our great stops and are out here doing the show, and the weather's beautiful.
So gorgeous out. Lots of fresh air going on. Nice breeze, which is good because it's hot. But it's not too hot over here.
Not terrible. Not terrible. It feels
With
great
the
out here on the
breeze.
porch. So, again, to close out the show, just really, really good visits this weekend from some of the players. I know we talked about Devin Carter. His daddy was a legacy at Florida State. Very good player, Dexter Carter, but likes Auburn, you know, and Florida State's really, putting on a full court press for him. But that's part of it. But we're going down through here and looking at some of the moves from some of these guys. Normally you see a good mix of SEC schools, and you got Faison Brandon, who's the number one quarterback in the country, number one player in the country, going to Tennessee right now. But then you see a bunch of Miami, Ohio State, Southern Cal logos out here with these top, and of course Oregon. I didn't even mention Oregon. It's like an O every other player right now. And I know it's a little bit different for them because they can't recruit their state and put a winning football team on the field. They've got to go and get the best wherever they can go get it. But it is just so much more competitive now.
It is, and you see a lot of different teams, and the way that everything is working, because there are so many teams that probably didn't have the NIL money with the cap and everything now that's been given out, that they've got money to use and they've got money to spend that they didn't have before.
That's a good point to close with, that we were told this week that a lot of our schools, like you said, have a cap and they've already spent it. They've been doing this, but then you got other schools out there that even in Power 4 conferences that haven't had that money or have never spent that money, saying, "Oh, we're going to spend that now."
Yeah,
they can sneak in the back door and say, "Hey, we'll pay you X number of dollars to come be the elite player for us."
right.
And that could be enough to sway a guy that didn't have them on the radar to say, "Look, I'm for that money. Yeah, I'm going to play for them."
I think that will definitely be beneficial out of the transfer portal and everything. If what happens if something like the Nico situation happens again and someone else says, "Hey, well, I can do that. I got you." It's that easy.
It is that easy.
Which is wild.
Very, very wild. But when I look down through here and look at some of the players that Auburn is recruiting, Zion Ely is the number 2 player in the country. And a lot of people feel like he is, a lock to Maryland, but he made a trip here and he really likes Auburn. That's going to be something that happens at the end. If Auburn were to get him, that would be something that I don't think he's going to change his commitment from Maryland. That's his home state. And if Auburn were to get him, it would be because I think Auburn had a really good season. Xavier Chaplin had a phenomenal season and is a projected top 10 draft pick. He's top 12 right now, but a lot of hype around him that could get him swayed.
Yeah,
I think the SEC is a pull for sure over some of the other conferences. So that's one there. Obviously, Sedarian sitting there is the number 11th ranked player in the country. 24/7 has him, like you and I've said for months, a 50-50 split between Auburn and Alabama. So I don't think that's any breaking news. But as you and I go through here, there's been some shifting up and down for players' rankings, and it won't be the ending. I mean, there'll be some guys that move up, and there'll be some guys that drop a few spots. So
right. Yeah, it's interesting just scrolling down, seeing so many different logos and different, just not really what you expect kind of anymore.
No,
there's not really anything you can't expect, I feel like, at this point, but it's just changing and evolving so much.
But as I look down through here with Tank, Caden, Derek Cooper, a lot of these guys that we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, Bryce Perry Wright, it's all going to come down to what results can Auburn push out there. I think Auburn will get their opportunity. Trenton Henderson. I mean, Trenton Henderson's jumped massively from just inside the top 100 to inside the top 30 now.
Yeah, that's a huge jump for him, and just seeing where a lot of these predictions are too.
You got a lot of edge rushers. I mean, we've been talking about them for a month. 2 or 3 of these guys I've just named, you're not gonna get all of them. You want to get one of them. Whoever it is, you've had 4 or 5 of them on campus, and I think Trenton Henderson's another guy that's kind of flown under the radar because hasn't been to a lot of camps, hasn't done some things, but now people are starting to realize how talented he is out of Pensacola.
Well, realize how talented he is, but also realize that there is some you don't have the same confidence after a lot of these visits and a lot of these guys that we have been heavily pursuing anymore.
No, you're right. Always in the game though on all of these. I mean, kind of shocking to see that Jair Edwards has a 100% to Georgia now on 24/7. They obviously know something maybe we don't. After we saw that he was probably trending more toward Alabama. But we'll see how it all plays out. Here in the final minute of the show, again, just want to tell everybody how much we appreciate what you do and spreading the word for us and getting out there. And if you like what we do, continue to spread the word. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that. Can't thank our partners enough. Russell Dewitt Center and Building Supply Stores, J.E. Smith Construction and Excavation.
And Cincy Green for air that's cool and clean. Call on Cincy Green.
And we will be back with you in the morning for another edition of the Auburn Blitz podcast. Have you covered from top to bottom, anything breaking with Auburn. Again, as we're here at lunch, we hope everybody has a good rest of
the day.
And it can still be the best day ever.
Yeah,
right?
it's still the best day ever.
Can still be the best day ever and a big old
War Eagle.